guys, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. I'm Shanae Howard. With me, as always, is Ryan Robinson.
Hello, my name is Ryan Robinson.
And Tommy Shelby.
Hello.
I really need to get used to saying every other week now. I told myself I wouldn't do it, and of course I did it.
Yeah, that's all right. No one cares.
Yeah.
I'm a failure, I know.
Not a single one of our listeners
sweet.
in Thailand has said anything about it, so.
Well, that's our core audience, so.
It actually is. We're actually doing quite well in Thailand. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So guys, what have y'all been playing this week?
Well, Ryan and Kaylee have been playing Knockout City, so they're like, Tom, play Knockout City with us.
Here it comes.
There's this free trial.
Here it comes. That was true at the time.
So I download the free trial.
Yeah.
Had to jump through some hoops to get it working because they're playing on console, I'm playing on PC.
Yeah.
And you got to sign up for EA, and you got to sign up for this and that all over. And then once you do that, you can play.
Did you have to sacrifice?
Huh?
Did you have to sacrifice one of your children?
No, but like, usually when Ryan recommends a game to me, it's pretty bad, Like he'll tell me, Tom, you should buy this, and I'll buy it, and it's just like the worst Sam show you've ever played.
That's not what happened.
But Knockout City is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. So after the free trial, I went ahead and purchased the game with my hard-earned money because Ryan and Kaylee were like, we're going to play tonight.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy it then. So I spent the money, and then they stood me up.
I think
and that's what happened.
I think they.
That's how it happened.
I think "they" is a very strong word.
But no, it's fun. It's weird, right? Because, like, I don't know about you, Ryan. I expected it to play like a shooter.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really play like that.
I mean, at first blush, it does look like that. Like, there's everything in the trailer and everything implies that it would play like that.
Yeah. But it is a lot of fun. I'm not very good at it, but
what's Knockout City?
Fun. It's a dodgeball game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've been doing that, and that's pretty fun. I started replaying Fear, which Fear is really good, so go play Fear. And I bought Necromunda Hired Gun, which just came out yesterday. And it's weird, right? Like, I've been seeing a lot of people reviewing it. It's very mixed. It's very, very mixed. A lot of reports of issues. I've had some issues with it myself.
Had a bad case of Necromundas.
Yeah. Like the audio mix is real bad.
Yeah.
Like NPC's dialogue sound, like
got you.
Yeah. And they've got like these takedown attacks that are like similar to the glory kills in Doom, but like the animations for them are real jank, and then like every once in a while you'll do one and it'll send you flying across the map.
I mean, if you needed to get there anyways.
Yeah, sure. I hear that the consoles are having like the biggest problems, but I'm 12 hours in and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a lot of fun.
Like what makes it kind of different than like other games in the genre, or what do you find like the most kind of fun about it?
I don't know. I mean, like everyone's comparing it to Doom, like new Doom, And I don't think that's really a compare. I think like from now on, whenever there's a grappling hook in a fucking shooter, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's like Doom," Even like Nightmare Reaper. Oh yeah, it's like Doom. It's nothing like Doom,
Well, Just Cause 2 had a grappling hook and a parachute, so I mean.
Sure, exactly.
Exactly. Like
I
Doom.
mean, there's a grappling hook, but like it's not tied to a weapon the way it is in Doom. You can use it with whatever, There's sliding, there's dashing, there's wall running. I don't know. And like I don't know much about 40K. Like it's never really been my thing. But like, man, the architecture in that game is fucking crazy, Like super huge environments, and like I guess Warhammer's thing is just put skulls on everything. So there's just like skulls and giant faces and giant bodies, and it's very, very cool.
Very body positive.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, man. I don't know. I'm having a good time with it. You know what's weird? Is like if you are a dog lover, this is not the game for you.
Oh.
You know?
I do love dogs.
Because like
I do.
You have a dog.
Yeah.
He's your cyber mastiff, right?
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
Well, like
Does he immediately die?
No. One, you can name your guns, but you can't name your dog. Which is kind of weird to me. Two, when you first have the dog, it's like a normal dog.
Yeah.
And you choose to have its body parts ripped off and replaced with like robot bits.
So if I were so inclined, I could go through the game with regular dog.
You could, yeah. Your dog would be a fucking, weak ass dog, but yeah, you could.
But he
like,
would
my
be
dog.
intact.
I mean,
My dog looks more machine than dog.
Sure.
But like it's funny because like there was nothing wrong with his legs when I decided to take them off and replace them with robot legs.
Yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with them, but you made them better.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, of course, you're killing a bunch of other dogs throughout the game.
Like regular dogs or robot dogs?
Well, a combination of the two because they're attacking you,
Sure. You got to defend yourself.
Warhammer, I mean, and then like Eschers, I didn't know Eschers was a thing, so it's just like a gang of women. So like...
That sounds like something.
There's parts of this game where you're just like going through just like brutally murdering women and dogs. Oh. And it's just like you're murdering men too.
Sure.
But like it's really weird. I didn't realize Warhammer was that. Apparently, if you're into 40K, like this is super authentic to that.
Okay.
So,
I see.
Dog hating?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. If you console, I wouldn't buy it yet. I would wait. They're already patching it. The fucking dev team's 21 people. Like give them some time. But
sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
Okay. So I want to talk about Knockout City because I feel like Tom undersold it. He understated it. So I want to tell you more about what that game is.
Well, I was talking more about what the situation was.
Sure.
You guys
I guess that's part of the game too, I guess. Yeah. But so as Tom stated though, Knockout City is a dodgeball game. And basically the way that the game works is that you have two teams. Depending on the mode, it's either 3 or 4 people. And there's even a 1 versus 1 mode as well. But basically, the object of the game is to get more knockouts than the other team, either first to 10 or whoever has the most at the end of the time limit. Everybody can take 2 hits from the ball, and there's a few different. There's like a regular dodgeball, but then they have all these different special ones. Like there's a multi-ball.
Some variations.
Yeah, there's a multi-ball, which
multi-ball is the best ball.
Gives you 3 balls to throw.
Does it have the most balls?
Well, here's the thing, right? So, like, you throw the ball, and the other person can catch it, like a dodgeball, right? Yeah. What's weird is I kind of feel like when they catch it, you should lose a health point, but that doesn't happen. But, like, it's the dodgeball, But, like, if they catch it, they don't take damage, and they can throw it back at you. But the multi-ball is cool because you can just, like, throw 3 of them like all at once, pretty much, and they're not catching all 3 of them.
Well, see, the thing is that like if someone throws a ball, so when you have the ball, you can charge it up to throw it faster, right? So if someone throws a ball at you and you catch it, it's immediately charged up, and you can throw it back at them at full speed. It's cool because like there's different strategies that you could do, and you could even like use your teammates as balls as well. Like they can ball up all Samus style, and you can grab them and throw them.
It's real disturbing. Like I was playing as this female avatar,
sure,
and I don't know how old these people are supposed to be, but I assume they're in their teens,
maybe.
And I roll up into a ball,
yep,
and I say "throw me," and it's really weird.
Yeah. But like
I'm imagining her character does not talk at all. It's just
no. They do say
exactly
that. They do say that. They do say throw me.
Well,
depending on the button, like you can give recommendations to whomever is wielding you. You can press one button that says throw me or pass me or whatever. But the cool thing is that if you hit someone while using your teammate as a ball, that's an instant kill, which is very satisfying. And there's even a mode that is just that. Like there's no actual balls. It's just you have to work with your team to throw each other at the opponents. And there's like a few different modes and like there's a bunch of like customization options and stuff, but like for your avatar. But the game is a lot of fun. So fun.
So
what's that?
So what happens whenever like you throw your teammate and it doesn't hit anybody?
So
that's it on the TV back there.
Huh? Oh yeah. So there are a couple of things can happen depending on what the actual outcome is, right? Like if you miss, then they just uncurl and they resume whatever they were doing.
So they can't throw them back, like they can't like pick you up and throw you back,
right?
Like they don't catch you.
But like they can, if they catch you, they can throw you back.
All right.
So like if your opponent has possession of you, you can tap the X button to try and escape. And then there's like you could even like if you charge up, if you're holding one of your teammates and you charge them up all the way, you can lob them up in the air and they do a super explosive attack, so you can actually take out multiple people at once with it.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah,
just like cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with it. It's pretty much all we play these days. But it's
they're already about to be level 100. Crazy to me.
Kaylee already got to level 100.
Last we played,
she
was approaching it.
Yeah, but now she's like working on her second 100,
which is like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I
think I'm level 8.
Yeah, but like the progression in that game works in such a way that like you gain levels like really quickly.
Yeah, it's like Overwatch where they just give it to you for anything.
Yeah, they just let you have it. Just give it to me.
But you still have to play the game, so
yes.
which they haven't been doing with you.
Right.
Sure.
After they told me to buy it.
I didn't tell you to do anything. I told you to try it, and you decided that you were going to buy it. So
you said let's play, and then that was.
Yeah, let's play. Let's play.
Mm-hmm.
He kept texting me to throw him. You know.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, like because I balled up and I went over to Tom and he picked me up and I was like, make use of me. But and then
it is fun though. You should play it, Shanae.
It's and I think the cool thing is like
what console have y'all been playing it on?
We've been playing on
PS5.
PS5, but like you can play it like it's a PS4
I'm playing
game.
It on Steam.
Yeah, and I think that like no matter what you're playing on, you can play with your friends. Regardless of what platform they're on.
I'd probably get it on PS4 because like me and Berto are still sharing a graphics card, and it's just like easier to not like have to schedule things like that.
Sure.
How do you share a graphics card? Are you like removing it from one PC and putting it into the next?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Man, that sounds miserable.
I mean, I can like obviously like online stuff without it. And I can do like small stuff, but like if I want to play video games, then yeah, I'm like, hey,
Oh, Shanae, you just reminded me. I've been playing Friday Night Funkin', which like, it's okay, you know. It's a really weird thing. Like, so Friday Night
I don't know
Funkin',
what it is.
It's a flash game. It's a rhythm-based flash game, for PC, right? But like, so because of that, everybody's been playing. Like, it's blowing up, and as far as rhythm games go, it's been blowing up. But like people who fancy themselves like rhythm game enthusiasts are like, oh, Friday Night Funkin' sucks, but then like everybody else fucking loves it, and I'm like somewhere in between. It's all right.
So, like, what kind of music we're talking about? What kind of aesthetic we looking at?
Well, aesthetically, I want to say it's on Newgrounds. I'm pretty sure it's on Newgrounds or published by Newgrounds or something like that. But really, it's real cartoony. And you're this little character, and you have like these rap battles with these other characters, and like
rapper.
I mean, yeah, but like, there's not really real words going on. But like,
like similar.
I don't know. Sorta. I mean, if you look it up, Friday Night Funkin', like it's big right now. It's a big thing right now. It's just not. It's not. I don't know how much more of it I'm gonna play, but yeah, you reminded me about that one.
Okay.
Because they don't say real words.
No, because you said online. And I'm like, oh yeah, online game. Like old, like how often do we talk about Flash games on here?
Tom,
Um,
you know what's funny is you said Newgrounds, and immediately I
Yeah.
conjured an image in my mind, and I looked up the game, and it is exactly what I thought it looked like.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, you know.
Yeah.
but yeah, besides dodgeball, what have you been playing, Ryan?
Oh, so I
Or
finished.
just mainly that?
I finished Yakuza 3. Um, very. It's so Yakuza 3. I think was interesting for me because it was definitely showing its age. At like mechanically speaking, like I'm definitely like, yes, this is definitely a 13-year-old PS3 game. Like it definitely has feels like that. But the story was so good that like it really carried me through it. And I've since moved on to Yakuza 4 like almost immediately, and like there's a 2-year difference between those games, but Yakuza 4 like just feels so markedly different, in a good way. So I'm really enjoying that. And that's pretty much it. I checked in on the new No Man's Sky update for like 10 minutes today, just to see what they did. And after reading the patch notes, they did a lot of stuff to it, and it's immediately apparent when I logged in. But that's
Nice.
Does No Man's Sky have any sort of like microtransactions or
Nope.
anything going on, or DLCs or
Nope.
anything?
nope.
So
Like,
how are they sustaining themselves over
they're
there?
it's still like they're still generating money through sales, and I don't know how much money, you know, I don't know how much money like Microsoft gave them to put the game on Game Pass, but
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
but like they haven't monetized anything. Now I suspect that like, that will be a different story when their next game comes out, but it seems like for the duration of the lifespan of this game that they won't be really monetizing it after the fact. So
Well, I don't know. I mean, Joe Danger didn't have any microtransactions.
yeah, so maybe that's just not, I don't know, maybe that's just not their thing, but like
Yeah.
I mean, they've been like just update after update, just like everything is free, so it's neat.
I mean, I don't know if they could really survive like another giant backlash. If like not that like necessarily it would be the largest backlash. Probably the people that would be most outspoken to people who haven't been playing
Yeah.
No Man's Sky through these updates.
But that doesn't seem,
Right.
that seems like the kind of mistake that you don't make twice though.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? Any other
No.
games?
no, that's
Or-
it. Nothing else comes to mind.
So I'm almost done with Murder by Numbers, and then I got like S rank on all the other cases, and now I'm almost done with the last one. Talked about it last week. I played a couple more P-Cross games or like picture cross games, and man, there's just like 2 features I wish that Murder by Numbers had. Besides that, I love it. And after playing other like picture cross games where it's nothing but the puzzles, like I really do enjoy the story so much more with it. And then me and Berto have been playing It Takes Two,
How's that been going?
How are you
and
liking that?
I like it a lot. I wasn't expecting the puzzles and challenges to be as like innovative as like they kind of are. Like there's like it kind of goes from like side scroller to different like puzzle things. Each level, like each character gets a different like thing that they can do, so it like really changes up the type of puzzles that you can do for like each area. We just like got to like a past the palace part. I don't know if have y'all played it yet?
No.
No.
Okay, would highly recommend
The
it.
only Joseph Ferris game I've played is Brothers.
But yeah, would recommend it. But there's a scene that like me and Berto are like, what the fuck are we doing? Like it was like it's so traumatizing, and it's just like I haven't played a game that has made me so uncomfortable with the actions that I'm doing in a long time. And I wasn't expecting that in this like very cutesy.
Y'all fucking?
No.
Is that why it's called that?
No. So like for those who don't know, It Takes Two is like a it's a co-op game, and it's like these parents have this weird
Ryan.
have this weird alien baby that doesn't like the proportions do not make sense.
Yeah.
And it
Wait,
and
so
it
is the baby
cries.
actually an alien, or are you just saying that? Like as a
She's
pejorative?
like- I think she's somewhere between 5 and 56. I don't know how old the kid actually is, but it doesn't look like a human should.
Sure.
Mhm. How should a human look, Sinead?
Yeah.
Not like that thing. But yeah. But like the kid cries because y'all are like gonna get a divorce and y'all get turned into a clay and wooden doll and have to go like to her, and y'all are under, and like the husband is under the assumption
Wait,
that
so it's about raising children?
no, about being parents, I guess, or like working together.
that's
Or,
yeah.
but like the child is like a goal. So like pretty early on in the game, the husband decides that the way that y'all are gonna get turned back into human beings, besides and like not into dolls, is by making their daughter cry again on them. She was crying on these dolls that she had, and then her parents became them.
Wait, so you guys have Pinocchio syndrome?
I don't know. I don't know
That
what
doesn't sound
I
like
don't know.
Pinocchio syndrome, because Pinocchio started as a puppet, then he became,
Oh, sure.
you know.
And like their human bodies are like still in the house. Like the daughter goes up to each one of them, and like the mom is like on the couch and she's like, "Mom, I have this toy. Let's play." And she's just like, the mom's sleeping. The kid just like keeps trying to talk, and she's like, "All right, I guess I'll go."
This
and
game
then
sounds
like
very
the dad.
upsetting. I don't
What
think-
was the game? What was the game called? The Prison Break game of his?
A Way Out.
A Way Out. Did either of you play that?
I played it. I fell asleep.
Really?
Yeah, I fell asleep while playing it.
Like, Brothers was so fantastic for the time that it came out, but like, really, that's kind of the opposite. You're playing two characters by yourself, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But just to finish it, the dad's at his desk though, and he's just like wavering back and forth. And she comes in, she's like, "Dad, Mom says she wants to be friends. Like you should go talk to her." And the dad's just there. She's like, "All right, I guess I'll just go." And this is like this weird, sad creature that I don't like in the game. But the gameplay itself is actually absolutely fantastic.
All right.
It sounds very upsetting, though. I don't know. Is this game okay? With this game, has this game gotten close to making you cry yet?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Do you think that it would
Roberto,
make me?
absolutely.
Do you think it would make me cry?
No, but I think you'll definitely laugh at some parts.
I like to laugh.
You'll cry. You'll laugh.
Yeah.
It'll be great, Ryan.
Sure.
I don't know.
But-
It's weird,
but
right?
man-
Like, what's so weird is like A Way Out did like so. And that was the one that he was like at the Game Awards saying
fuck
that's
the
like the
Oscars.
greatest game ever made and
Yeah.
all that shit, you know?
Fuck the Oscars. That's what he said.
Yeah, and then like with this one, he was definitely a bit more humble about it. Seems to be doing better.
Yeah.
I've talked to other people who have played it, and they also enjoy it. Like I also like so you can explore, and you'll find in the levels like different mini games that you can like play from the title screen. But besides that, there's not really any collectibles.
Yeah.
So the
Do
fact
you
that
want
like
collectibles? Is that
no, the fact that I am a person who likes to open every crate and get every single thing and everything, and Berto is not. He's like, how can I get the highest score as quickly as possible and like be the best of the game? This game has been super nice for us because like we have to work together. It's so, and things are so varied that it doesn't get boring, that both of us like want to play it. And it's been a while. It's been since Divinity really that we've played a game together. And Divinity he had already played through once. So, I don't know, it's been nice.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. It looks cool.
And then also I today bought, and I probably done downloading now, that the first Famicom game they just released on Switch. The detective one.
Oh yeah, I heard
Oh.
about those.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend that's playing it, and he said it was pretty good.
Cool.
Super Famicom Detective or whatever. Is that what it's called? Did I get it right?
I don't remember the name
I see.
right now. I just typed in. I knew I saw it and I had it on my wish list, and I looked at Famicom. So
Right on.
but as far as this week, though, me and Berto, since we've been playing the game and stuff together, we've also been talking about video games like more than we normally do with each other, and we kind of got into a big argument that I kind of want to talk about today.
Uh-oh.
But it was. I'm not. It's fine. But and it was how do certain like microtransactions in games, like he feels like they negate the gameplay.
How?
And or negates other people's experiences.
How?
And I well, that's what I want to talk about and go into more depth. And I didn't. But the game that we specifically talked about is World of Warcraft.
The ultimate game.
I kind of wanted to talk about, like, I have like a list here of different microtransactions that I've now like thought about, and kind of we've talked about microtransactions in different kinds before, but I kind of just wanted to dissect, like, how does it genuinely affect the players, not just like the company, and like their experience with the game. So I think so the first one I kind of wanted to like just kind of get out of the way, since we have done an entire episode about it, is loot boxes. It's just basically gambling. Those are microtransactions I don't really get behind, but I also, most of those end up being cosmetics, so I don't also really think that it affects my experience with the game at all, because I just know that I'll never buy them.
I've bought loot boxes before. It's not often, but I have. And I kind of like look at it like I don't mind loot boxes as long as, like you're saying, there's not affecting the gameplay. There's not an unfair advantage of what you might get from them. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person who, like, if I buy a fighting game, I'll buy every fucking costume in every color, even if it's a character I don't play, because I want those options there, you know? And that doesn't hurt anybody. But I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, I've only ever actually encountered one situation where loot boxes had any sort of actual mechanical effect on the game. And even in that instance, it was a single-player game. So, I personally am... It's something that I don't really think about often, like with Overwatch, for example, right? Like, I'm perfectly content to just open the loot boxes that the game gives me without feeling compelled to buy other loot boxes for the most part.
Overwatch specifically, though, right? Like, Bailey loves Overwatch, and when they have like a specific event going on, like a timed event, I will give her $20 to go buy some loot boxes,
Right?
Because there's usually something she wants that's only available for that time,
Right.
You know,
Right.
I don't see a problem with that. Like,
So
I don't know. I think really, go ahead, Sinead.
So with that, also with like loot boxes, just kind of also go into. I'm gonna kind of repeat this probably later, but one of the things that we were arguing about is people who their enjoyment of particularly WoW, but it can go to other games as well, is like being a collector and having all of like one thing. So as far as loot boxes go, I think that if you do get them like daily, or you can get them without purchasing them, I don't like. I know that I'll never get a loot box, but like if you can get the loot boxes without purchasing them, that I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing if you can get it in that time frame. But also if you can like buy it later because you missed that time frame, I don't think that negates any collector's thing. He disagreed because then that means that you were there on that date. But I just think that's just trying to show that you are, I guess, more dedicated. I don't know. I don't really get that point of view of feeling so like I need to show that I love this more than everybody else does.
Well, but I mean that's the thing, right? Like, we don't need to understand why people want to make those purchases. If those purchases aren't hurting anybody, what's the problem? You know?
Well, he says that it is hurting people because it's killing their enjoyment because that's what they get out of the game.
Well, I mean, that's their fault. At some point, you have to be an adult and think about what you're buying.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I guess
exactly.
I need a little bit more clarification with that statement. Like, what is it like? Like, what is the meaning behind killing their enjoyment of the game? Like, I guess I'm fuzzy on that.
Because they're not getting what they want when they want.
I see.
So, all right. So I was trying to do it like a more organized way, but I'll just say what the argument, like what the disagreement was. So with like WoW, you can buy pets, you can buy a lot of mounts. There are mounts that before you could only get through doing certain instances or raids that now you can just purchase. And so he was saying that the fact that you could, we use specifically mounts because mounts do differ in WoW, but it's mainly just like a speed, but you're just in a class. Like these are like the better, speedier ones. There's not like, oh, this one's like a little bit faster. It's just aesthetics. Uh, but the fact is, like, some people spend their time doing all those raids, doing that stuff, setting up that group, and they like want that mount to show that like they achieved that.
And then
But
only later somebody else can just go buy it, and that upsets them.
and he's like, that negates all the work that they did. And I was like, no, it doesn't, because they still found that group, had that interaction, played the game. Like that doesn't negate their experience.
And they still
they
received
had.
that product, right?
And
like,
I think that
what's funny. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I just think it's like, okay, so I think that with how many people are playing that game, like I think that circumstances are different, right? And I think that like I've done raids in WoW before, and it is an undertaking, right? And it's like it's complicated and time consuming, and sometimes people can't find the people to do that stuff with. Sometimes people just don't have the time to do that stuff with people. But like I don't think that should mean that they should be cut off from pieces of content for that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was my thing, is like I was like, if I say like I have some things going on in my life during a time and I have to like take a second job and I just don't have the time to do a raid anymore, and I just like, but like that mount is so cute and I want it. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, so it does not hurt the person who did all the effort to get that mount.
It doesn't.
Then mine. He's like, but if it doesn't like matter, then that person that can't put in the time, it should like, why should that thing be there for them if it truly doesn't matter because it's aesthetics? And I was like, that's not the point. The point is like they both can have it.
Yeah.
Is it like
They wanted it sooner. You know what? Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as content exclusivity in gaming anymore.
Right.
It doesn't exist anymore, right? Like, 2015, 2016, I pre-order Street Fighter V, and I get Bearded Ryu, and that's the only way to get Bearded Ryu. Fucking everybody has Bearded Ryu.
I have
Who
him.
cares?
He's great.
You know? Yeah.
I mean,
Or
I guess
like
it's
if you're
content
into COD,
exclusivity.
you're gonna get these maps on PlayStation. But guess what? Like everyone else is gonna get those maps too. It's just gonna be a couple of weeks longer. You know? Like who the fuck cares?
I guess there is content exclusivity, I think, with a lot of microtransactions, because there's a lot of things where it has like in-game or real life currency stuff you can buy. And I see like it's like Halo or Destiny. I know they like one of them like, or maybe both of them, like they change their stuff every week, so you can like buy new things, but there's certain items that will only be purchasable with money. So I guess that there is content exclusivity when it comes to like non-achievable
Yes.
items.
Purchasable with money is not exclusive, you know. Like if you can obtain it, you know, I don't think that's really the same thing.
So I guess I
guess that's fair.
I guess I think that like putting something behind a paywall and putting something behind a skill wall are two different things. And you know, I think, you know, there are people who are just like okay, so there are skins in Mortal Kombat 11 that you can only get by progressing to a certain tier during seasonal play, right? Like if you can't do that, then you just don't get those skins, right? And there are people who are just never going to be at that point. There are people who will never like, for whatever reason, they're not going to get to the skill that they would have to be to like progress to like the top level of play during a given season, right? And that's one of those instances where they just don't get that skin. And so I wonder, like, okay, so let's say that they changed it to be where like after that season is over, maybe a couple weeks after the season is over, they made it to where I could just buy that skin, right? Does that mean then that I am on equal footing as someone who got to tier 1 that season? No, it just means,
No, absolutely not.
it just means that like we both have that skin.
NetherRealms is going to do that if they haven't already. They will do that.
Yeah.
They're not going to produce. They're not going to take the time to make these skins and not make the money off of it that they can.
Yeah. I mean, for some reason they haven't yet, but I don't know.
They will. Give it time.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee it. 2, no, I mean that's not at all what it means. Like that's what rankings are for.
Right. Exactly.
That's not what skins are
so,
for.
So that's what I'm saying.
You know?
So like that means so then it comes to a conversation like, okay, so if we go back to the WoW conversation, right? And so I got this mount because I completed this raid. I know that. Everybody who was there knows that. And I have this mount to commemorate that I did that, right? And at a certain point, like, I mean, like if that's all that mount signifies to you, then great. But like you already know that you did it, and I don't know if it means less.
No, you want everybody else to know is the thing.
We'll see. And that's what cosmetics are, right? They're just like it's all like it's just clout. That's all it is, right?
I mean, it's achievements.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but I once said it earlier. I was like, nope, don't use the word clout, Sinead.
Well, I wouldn't say that cosmetics are necessarily clout. Cosmetics in that way.
In that specific instance is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but,
skill wall is a good term. I honestly, when I was like looking up a lot of stuff, that didn't even like pop in my mind. I'm gonna start using that for the rest of the conversation.
But like it's just like
but one
like
of the other things
that's
that
what achievements are for.
But another one of the things that I brought up in our discussion was before, like, there's a lot of like, and it's kind of in my list too. There are a lot of microtransactions that end up existing because they're player requests. So like, let's go back to the mounts.
Okay.
There were people who would buy, like, who would create accounts, basically skill them up, do these things, and then just sell those accounts. And there'd be people out there that are scammers that would say that you would get this account and then just take your money and leave. That's not a good look for the company. People were still doing it, but in a more like macro like level. Like, is this going to be more expensive than what the company is going to charge you for like the one mount? Because it's going to be an entire account.
Yeah. And
something you can get banned for too. So like, I think so. Like things like that. Other kind of player request things I was thinking about, like also WoW again, like changing your faction, changing like the race of your character, things like that. Like people were wanting that, and so they put that in the game. Like, and people were like, I don't want to like skill up in a warrior all again just to be horde and buying accounts. So why wouldn't like Activision Blizzard like put that in the game and make the money off of that, especially when they're not raising their subscription prices?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. WoW, as you know, is quite old. And, like, they should try to... if I was them, I would monetize the shit out of every fucking... I would nickel and dime in that game. You know, you have this community, and you have to pay to keep that shit going. Am I aware that Activision has a lot of money? Yes, I am aware. But if the product becomes... a loss at some point, which eventually I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
That it's not feasible to keep doing this shit for free. Absolutely. Charge them for all that shit. I would.
Yeah.
It's a business. And as scummy as it sounds, we've talked about it on the show before. Fiduciary duty, right? Like everybody knows that Activision is publicly traded, right? As is Blizzard. It's not a privately owned business. They are doing what they are supposed to be doing.
And even then, like, putting those player requests, like sometimes they like, so in the WoW community, like for years, forever, since they introduced any sort of microtransaction in there, there's always been debate about it. Now there's even more than ever. There's like arena stuff and like, there's a whole bunch of shit. But like, some people, I've seen the complaint through the decade of like, lowering the price for some of the other stuff. Like faction changes. I think they're like $60.
Price, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you're changing like everything and who you can interact with and like do raids with. So
I know almost nothing about World of Warcraft.
So there's the Horde and there's the Alliance, and those are the factions.
I know that. Yes.
So yeah, you're just swapping in between, so that it changes like what things look like. It just changes a lot. But like I guess to to avoid people just doing it willy-nilly all the time, they had the higher price point on it. Like, there's a paywall there for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it makes sense for the way that they run their game.
Yeah.
And people still complain about it. But I think that I don't know, I haven't seen, they do have a lot of microtransactions now, but I haven't seen anything that's as egregious as what I've been seeing on, like, different forums and YouTube channels. Like, people are just acting like it's super awful, but I'm just like, you can still do all of these things without paying all that extra money.
Well, and we've talked about it before, right? On the show, I don't know how many times that games are now cheaper than they have ever been, even if you take into account $70 for a new PS5 game, right? They are still cheaper than they've ever been, and people are going to complain either way. Most developers, not all, but most developers have a choice. They can either charge you $80, $90 for the fucking game, or they can make microtransactions and DLC. And people are going to complain either way. You know, people started bitching when PlayStation was like, this title's going to be $70, and that title's going to be $70. People were complaining then, and those games have no microtransactions. You know? Now, I guarantee within the next 6 months we'll find a game that's $70 with microtransactions. Absolutely, we will. But people are going to complain either way.
I mean, it comes down to the point where it's just like the only thing you can do, like if you're in a position of like how you're charging and stuff, like the only thing you can actually do is go the route that has the least negative effect on, you know, your revenue stream. But I don't know, man. I just think that when it comes to like things that we can purchase in the game, like I think it comes to like an individual conversation of like, what is that game to you? Like, what is enjoyment in that game to you? Like, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and what form does that take? If your enjoyment of the game is just engaging with the game like in its present form, untouched, like as you like out of the box, and that's one thing. Or it could be like my enjoyment of the game comes from having every gun or skin or costume that I can have. That makes the game more enjoyable to me. So it's like it's such a subjective thing that there's not a one size fits all answer to it, you know?
Well, let me ask you guys this. We've talked about this before as well, but it's been a while. I don't know that I've ever actually got an opinion from either of you on it. I, for a long time, have been of the opinion that there are a lot of hobbies that I would like to be able to do that I realistically can't afford to do. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe if this is a problem for you, maybe you just can't afford video games. And I know that sounds shitty, but, like, there's a lot of... I can name 1,000 hobbies that I would love to get into that I'll never be able to afford. You know what I mean?
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right? Pokemon cards right now. But, like... you know what I mean? Like there are so many things out there.
There are cheaper hobbies in video games. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Like, all right, but the thing I wanted to kind of like to reel it back in from that high level though is just like how do these actually affect you? Like, do these actually affect the players in like
personally.
negative ways? And I don't. Besides, all right, like the players, let's say that the players as a general base. If somebody has a self-control like issues, that's not a video game thing.
Yeah,
That's
a you
that
thing.
person.
Yeah.
So like as far as like having these higher price points,
Sure.
Like for to kind of go back a little bit for like the paywall deterrence, like yes, that's like a more of a financial burden on people who want to do that stuff, but it also makes sense for the gameplay. So the servers are like, you can see how balanced they are between the two factions. You're not going to have people like a whole bunch of people in one area for the Horde and like then just all of them migrate to the Alliance and like do that. Like it creates a better balance to have it not be something that you can do every 20 minutes.
Sure. I mean, I can't speak to WoW. You know, not really, but like...
Yeah.
Microtransactions in games rarely if ever, have affected me other than the fact that there might be something that I want that I end up paying for. You know,
So,
I mean, I don't really care. I really don't. You know.
I mean, so it's just like most microtransactions or most purchasable or downloadable items don't affect. They typically don't change how the game works, at least in a multiplayer sense. And they don't really have like a meaningful impact on the actual experience of playing the game. Now, if not having those things means I don't like the game as much as if I did have those things, then like I guess that's a me problem, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like, but I can't sit here and say that I think that that microtransactions, at least in the way that I have known them to exist, generally speaking, have a negative impact on players. I do think that it is. I do think that it's certainly possible for a publisher or developer to take like a kind of a more predatory slant with that stuff. But I feel like that is kind of where their obligation ends, and my agency as a consumer begins. So,
also, like I think about games like Apex Legends or similar games, right?
Yeah.
Fortnite, like the games that are free to play with microtransactions and loot boxes.
yeah,
And players will play them for fucking hundreds of hours, never buy a thing, and complain about something in the game. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I will say, when it comes to microtransactions, if it's a free-to-play game, and I've enjoyed the time that developer or publisher has given me, I will intentionally buy some loot boxes.
Yeah, I have
to try
done
to
it.
support that shit.
I've done that, and yes, I get that. Like, I get that Respawn is an EA subsidiary, right? I get that, and EA has a shitload of money, right? But like, I also believe in the product, and I enjoy the product.
Yeah, and regardless of who is publishing that game and who owns that property,
Yeah.
if Ryan wants a Titanfall 2 or not, an Apex Legends 2 down the road,
Yeah.
then it's going to take some money for that to happen, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, and especially like in the case of Apex Legends, where the game takes place inside of a universe of another game that I enjoy, right? And it could very easily be seen, especially with the way that those two games are starting to merge together. It could very easily be seen that Apex Legends is a good way to gauge interest in a Titanfall 3. So,
Knockout Legends, right? I don't know if that game has microtransactions. I'm going to assume it probably does because it's got cosmetics out the ass, right?
It does. You can buy the hollow bucks with real bucks.
Yeah. But that game is a $20 game. I had fun playing it with Ryan and Kaylee. So when I bought, after you doing the free trial, I bought the deluxe edition.
Right.
I'm really not sure what that got me, but like I threw them the money because I had fun with it. You know,
Sure.
like I don't know.
I don't know.
So-
I don't know. It's just I think that people are really. I don't know. I honestly feel like a lot of the time with the narrative of microtransactions and
Microtransactions.
of Mitchell transactions.
Yeah.
I think it always feels to me like it seems like who we're talking about, like as far as who is selling the items. It always feels like that. So
yeah, I mean, people.
I think you're right with that, but I also think that it happens. I think with more larger games, with the people who like to have, I guess, like more fiduciary duty. I don't know. That doesn't sound right, but y'all know what I mean. Hopefully, so you can just tell with certain games and certain events and certain things, they are just there to sell the microtransaction, to build money, to maybe do something else with the game or fulfill some sort of quota that they have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that with microtransactions the way they are now, instead of raising the price of a game or like I guess other model like business like or marketing models that I'm not thinking of, like it can feel like it's watering down your game because like even if everybody knows what they're doing and it's temporary, like I don't know, I do think that there is something that microtransactions bring to the culture that's not like always beneficial, like to like basically everybody.
When you say
I mean, I
watering
don't
down the
disagree.
game, what do you mean exactly?
So so say there's like the event, not necessarily the events in Overwatch, but say there's like, but with some of them, say that they're not like, they're basically just like a reskin of something else that existed, and they put them out there and like, hey, like you have to pay for these loot boxes during this time, and like the entire event is not very fun. It's just recapping what already exists, trying to sell like some new items for somebody, and then like later they'll do like a more new innovative thing. It I just like I see it more with MMOs for sure than like other stuff because normally those are longer lasting with a larger player base. So like those that it works better for that. So yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I think people forget like this is a business, you know. Like they're all these companies, they're not your friend. They're there to make some money, you know.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
I just was like, these aren't like
My friends don't make money.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm a millennial. All my friends are
And
broke,
I mean that's
but-
separating the development. That's separating the development team from the publisher, which a lot of people can't seem to understand.
Yeah,
But you know, that's the case, right?
But the development team has to make these things because of the marketing team saying like, "Hey, we need to drum up this," or
Sure.
like the financials team. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, if they're obligated, absolutely they do. You know, but I don't know, man. Like I think about. You know what I think about is Killing Floor 1 and Killing Floor 2 more so in that like that game's got loot boxes and you can buy all these different keys or currencies or whatever, right? And
they actually sell guns in that.
Everything
bitch.
you unlock everything you unlock is just cosmetic. And I've bought maybe once or twice something, whatever the currency is or loot boxes are, right?
Right.
But like that has allowed Tripwire to one sell me that game at like I think originally it was a $40 game.
Yes.
I don't know. It's several years removed, right?
Yeah.
Two, provide tons and tons and tons of free content, like for years now. You know, I don't see a problem with that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Maybe
then,
I'm the idiot. You know, I'm the sucker.
That's quite possible. That's actually more.
It is possible.
That's actually the most
maybe
likely scenario.
I mean, I'll tell you this: I've paid for fucking character voice packs in Japanese fighting games. You know, like.
Yeah, but again, like that's like it's a thing.
I've done it with the Tonys.
That's a thing
Yeah.
for your own personal enjoyment, right? And it doesn't.
I've paid for the color blue. You know,
Yeah, and
like,
it doesn't like, and these are things
who
that like
cares?
don't fundamentally or really
Yeah.
in any actual mechanical way change how the game works.
Yeah, and in that same note, right? Like it's fucking soft circle French bread. People in the fighting game community don't know who they are. You know, they need the money. Like if I'm gonna get this fucking new Under Night game or new fucking whatever, like they need that money, man.
Yeah. So,
But also, I don't think any of us are like really collectors. I mean, yeah, like Ryan, you're doing like the trophies, but like I don't think any of us like play a game or like, oh, I need to like. We're not collectors for clout, anyways.
Yeah.
Not for clout, but like the reasoning doesn't really matter.
Right.
Right. With Street Fighter V, I can tell you that. Well, I don't know about now because there's a couple characters I don't have. But as of a couple of months ago, I had every skin you could have in that game, including all the CPT shit, which costs like $20 every time it comes around.
Yeah.
You know, I had them all. That's not cheap, you know, but like, I wanted them, you know,
And
I
that's
want to have them all.
and like I guess like what other reason does there need to be? Right?
Yeah.
You like there's an item that you want, and then you purchased it, and that was it.
Right.
And like I think that like okay, so there are times where I would see a piece of DLC and be like, that seems excessively priced, right? But but I'm also a proponent of like, well, sell your product for however much you think it's worth, and it's up to the consumer to decide if it's also worth that much to them, right? Like for example, recently Warzone.
I think that only goes for certain products, though.
Well, recently Warzone came out with John McClane and Rambo as characters you can play as, right? Those guys are $20 a piece. I wouldn't pay $20 a piece to play as any character, right?
I absolutely would.
But like again, see, that's what I'm saying is that like if it's worth it to Tom, it doesn't have to be worth it to me.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't like if it's not worth it to me, then that means I've made a decision that I don't need that to enjoy the game. So like what difference does it actually make?
Like Dead by Daylight's got like Resident Evil shit in it now.
Yeah.
A few months back they put Silent Hill shit in there, right?
Yeah.
And like what a smart thing that is, because like I have no interest in that game. But then they started putting Silent Hill stuff in there, and I was like, "Well, maybe I'll play it." No, I didn't. But like,
but
you could see why they would do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That one's in unison, but kind of like it's a different question than what we've been talking about, but it is something that I wanted to ask y'all. This is mainly concerning like mobile games or like old Facebook games or something like that. Do you think there is a difference in pay to win and pay to continue playing? Like, you say you can do a certain amount of things, and then in 5 hours you'll refill and can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's like a really big difference in those? Or
I think the difference is that when people refer to pay to win, they're typically talking about a multiplayer experience. No.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. I was like, I mean, it was succinct and correct. I had because like when I was trying to like think of this and think about like how I really interact with microtransactions the most.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of it's like a lot of mobile Atomi games.
Yeah, you don't want to wait.
And yeah, like you like there's a lot that have like competitive like other like interactions with other like players. Like sometimes like you'll have to like do certain things with your character, and it's like, oh, like you'll have to collect things as you go through the story, and then like you go against somebody else, and whoever has like the higher cute score wins. And they have like those aspects in there, and that like there's certain people I see and they like are all decked out. I'm like, you've spent like $1,000 in this game. Like there's no way you haven't. And that stuff is like, I think is more of like a pay to win thing, but like with also other Atomi games, like you can either buy one character's route outright, or if you want to, you can just like play a couple chapters a day, or buy like a certain amount of time, or buy just one chapter at a time.
Yeah.
And I think that the most that has affected me is I don't know if I want to play the entire chapter or the entire character. I'm like, well, I'll buy one chapter. And I'm like, oh, I like this. I'll buy another one. And then by the end of it, I spent double than if I just bought the character chapter.
I mean, that's on you, Shanae, you know?
And I was going to say, that's where accountability happens, and that's me.
Yeah.
And of course, like it's a business that like they know that's why they put that option in.
You know what, Shanae, it's funny you say that. I just recently did the same thing, like a few weeks ago. Master Chief Collection, I bought just Combat Evolved when it would have been cheaper for me to buy all of them. You know, like if I do intend to buy all of them eventually, it would be cheaper for me to do that. Though I don't know that I'm going to do that. Maybe I probably won't. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, see, I've always found that mobile games to be this weird paradox, right? Is because like people have always been very critical of how those games are monetized, but people also don't seem to believe that those games should be sold for money. So like it's just like, what are you supposed to do, right? And I think that Tom is correct. Like pay to win is typically like if you're in your Clash of Clans, right? Like there's no way you're going to be competitive in that game if you're not spending some kind of money. There's just no way. It's just not going to happen. But then you have
and Clash of Clans is bringing in like billions of dollars a year. So.
And like the people who are who are succeeding in those games are people who are willing to shell out the most dollars. That's all it comes down to. Whereas you have a game like I don't know like Candy Crush, you're paying to get more energy to play another level, right? So I mean, it's just
like Nintendo proved your point, right?
Yeah.
Like Nintendo proved your point a few years ago. They put out Mario Run. They said, pay this one time, you get everything.
Right.
You know? And while that game did quite well for a paid mobile game,
yeah,
then they put out Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem, and like those fucking blew it out of the water. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the weird thing is, right, is that like on any other platform, no one would have a problem with paying $10 for a Mario game, right?
Yeah.
But you put that game on a phone, then therein lies the problem. So
I mean,
So
to be fair,
I think-
it is a different experience, right? Like it's not a Mario game.
yeah, but it's
in the
It's
sense,
also
but
it's also on a device that not all parents like. It's on a device that most parents understand, a phone.
Sure.
Not all parents understand how the PlayStation Store or like Network and Plus and all that works. Like parents understand that you can get free apps on your phone.
yeah.
And like, they may not understand, like, hey, they can purchase things later in this game, and so I mean, like that also like has a thing for it too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just like I think that a lot of games in that space are they're all in-app purchases. It's all some kind of microtransaction, and like it's a space that like I feel like I would never like want to really release a product in, because like it's twofold, right? Like one, you have to find a way to sell this product, and two, you have to find a way to legitimize the product because of the platform that it's on.
Well,
Get on
what's so
Apple
true about
Arcade.
that too is like it's only getting worse and worse, right? Like
Yeah.
if you think about games from the mobile space that at the very least started as a mobile game, right? That went on to win like many awards and became very well respected. That cost a set amount of money. I mean, what do you have? You've got Sword and Sorcery, you've got Monument Valley, maybe one or two more, and those were made how long ago?
Yeah.
Like the App Store was a lot less crowded then.
Yeah.
But I still think that like I guess I still believe in Apple Arcade. I still think that
That's a completely
Mobile-
different conversation, though.
I'm saying, like, as far as like mobile games go, I still think like, or since we're like on that part, I it's a subscription, not microtransactions, which we've been talking about. But I think that that's still a good space. I've enjoyed the curation on there.
Me too. I've enjoyed the curation there as well.
And I think that if any mobile game had the chance of like becoming bigger, is to do more, is to get onto a subscription-based service rather than doing the microtransactions, like possibly.
But I still side with Ryan in that, like, I still wouldn't want to release a game in that space, even if it was on Apple Arcade. And that's just me personally, right? But like, I mean, the fact that Apple has already taken 30% or 40%, whatever it is, then if it's on Apple Arcade, you got to assume they're probably taking more of that. I don't know.
I mean, you don't know.
I don't know, but I do know that they're taking. I'm pretty sure it's 40% of every app right now. I don't know. I mean, they're in litigation for it right now, like as we speak.
Nah, it's just a misunderstanding. Like Apple wouldn't do that.
As she says with her AirPods in her ears.
on my iPhone, and my Apple Watch is charging, and I just bought that new Apple TV remote.
Sure.
It's so good. It's $60. I mean, I got gift cards from work. So
You got to toe the company line, or they'll turn that Apple pacemaker off. So,
but yeah. Just side note, that new Apple TV remote, super good. But I don't know if it's worth $60. But I'm glad I have it. But I also think, I don't know about how much they're paying them, but to go back to the Apple Arcade, but they also are putting, I know they're technically any game on the iOS system they're putting the name on, but this is what Apple's saying is their arcade. I do think that there is some sort of standard there, and hopefully they are paying the people somewhat fairly. But
I mean, there is
yeah,
some standard. The curation there is better, right? But you know what sucks about that is it's become, well, if you want a good curated experience, well, then you got to pay us for that, you know. God forbid they just say, no, this game can't be on the App Store because it sucks. Why would we want to sell that? You know?
Yeah.
but business, the business. They're getting sued.
Yeah.
They need the money.
Sure. No, but fiduciary duty could go
not-
either way, though, right? And a company like Apple, who I'm sure has a huge fucking legal team, could argue it either way. I mean, if you look at, we've talked about it before, Nintendo, right? The NES, 700 something games throughout its entire life. And are they all fantastic? No.
Absolutely.
But are a lot more of them fantastic because Nintendo said you can only publish this many games a year? Yeah. And now look at the fucking Switch. Looks like it's the fucking App Store again, man. It's fucking miserable in there.
And also, this fucking eShop sucks, so...
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. I was like, also, eShop is like, I think I could deal with how shitty I don't know if I would notice how bad the catalog is if the eShop was better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I would notice how bad the catalog was if it wasn't 700 games in its first 6 months of release, as opposed to the entire lifetime of that console.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna read that entire list, so it's fine. As long as as long as all the A's through like G are good, then it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about microtransactions and talking about them a lot lately, so I wanted to continue talking about them. And also show Berto this episode later and why he's wrong.
Oh, yeah, well, there's nothing saying that we're right, you know? Like...
We say we're right.
Like, I think that, like...
I can 100% see his side of it. So... Like, I totally can.
The back and forth with this stuff the back and forth with this stuff has always been like the crux of the argument has always been the presumption of how other people should spend their money, and whether or not they are doing the right thing by buying a certain piece of content, or whether or not they are ruining the game by supporting content. Like, I think that people should decide for themselves what any given game, you know, what enjoyment of that game means to them. If it means every costume, then go nuts. Get every costume, you know, as long as you can afford that shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it means that you can play the game out of the box as it is, then that's okay too. Like,
let me tell you something. DLC recently dropped for Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Yep.
A game that I liked, but that I had stopped playing months and months ago. Right? But they got me. They're pulling me right back in.
Like,
I'm going to pay them, and I'm going to play it, you know?
Yeah, and the conversation would change if Capcom was like, you can only throw 200 punches, then you got to pay us $15 to get more punches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So...
Is that pay to win?
Yeah. I guess so, because I can't hit back if I don't pay that money, so... But
they do say the best offense is a great defense.
Sure. You know, but like it goes back to like when it comes to any of this stuff, right? You know, whatever you think, if you think that this stuff, whatever you're buying is worth that amount, then I can't tell you that you're wrong. Yeah. You know, I can't tell you that $70 is too much for a video game any more than I can tell you that, you know, 50 cents is too much for, you know, more time in some mobile game, right? I can't tell you that. That's your money.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, as much as I don't like pay to win, like, dude, like, this is fucking pay to win. It's the same fucking thing. It's just physical, you know? If you're paying for better equipment, better peripherals that are, like, factually faster than, you know, the norm out there, that's the same fucking thing as pay to win.
Yeah.
Is something... I mean, obviously there's something very different than what the traditional pay-to-win is and, like, what you're equating it to.
Sure, but...
I mean, I get the point you're making, but I do think that it's, like, a false equivalency. Like, if
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
All right.
So
if I can afford a fight stick with fucking say Mitsu buttons in it, and Ryan can buy some fucking cheap ass Mayflash fight stick with Chinese buttons in it that get fucking stuck when he's playing the game, I think that's something. There's something there to that. But
also but then we start going into skill walls. If Brian, I know your
same
name,
skill
Brian.
though.
Yeah.
Same skill though,
Brian,
right? You
no,
push a button and it works,
let me
and you push a
finish.
button and it doesn't
Let
work.
me finish. Ryan builds the skill to fix that, take it apart, fix the wiring or whatever on that button, and to where that doesn't happen anymore. Then then it doesn't. Then it's not pay to win because he can fix it.
Well,
It was skill.
counterpoint. I still have to spend money to buy the parts to fix it.
Just steal them.
Just go to your local arcade.
Sure. Go to your local arcade, which is likely a desert, and just take whatever you want. No, I mean I see what you're saying, Shanae, but like I think that like a lot of I think that when people make have the conversation about whether or not a piece of equipment is pay to win, this is with the assumption that everything else is equal.
Sure.
With like that,
I mean,
that is
it's
so.
not. Life
yeah.
isn't equal, but at the same point, this Harry Potter game, I keep trying to play, and then because I forget that it's pay to win. And what I mean by that is like they have events,
Yeah.
and they're timed, and there's no way, even if you play 24, like as soon as your stuff fills up, there's no way to get enough energy to do the stuff in that time frame unless you purchase stuff.
Yeah.
And that's specifically different.
Sure.
And that's pay to win, and that's very specifically different than buying peripherals so you can play VR games.
In that instance, yes, that is different. But in most cases, pay to win is giving you an advantage in a game.
Because that honestly seems like it's just pay to engage with the game almost.
Right. Exactly.
It is
so-
essentially. And I keep forgetting how bad it is, and I'm like, I want to play Harry Potter.
That's a real fucking arcade right there, man.
I mean, you have to pay to engage with pretty much every game that's not free to play.
Right.
Yeah. But
But as far as what they are charging you versus what you get, it's honestly extremely ridiculous in my opinion.
I'm sure it is.
For that particular game. But yeah, I don't know. I get the point that you're making. Like I said, I just disagree on what exactly for that term.
let's say you're playing, I don't know what you're into. Let's say you're playing CS:GO, right? And Shanae goes out and buys those fucking sweet Astro headsets.
Yeah, she can hear me coming.
Give you the 360 surround all around.
She's gonna hear me coming. I'm not gonna be able to sneak up on her.
And Ryan has the earbud that came with his PlayStation 4.
I've done that.
So you assume that I listen when I play online shooters, that I listen to the online shooter noises. I put on my own music even for that. That's
Sure.
part of the reason I'm so bad at it.
Well, that's just you giving yourself a handicap. So
I'm saying you can give me all let's not use a shooter for this example. No matter what I have, I can't even quick turn half the time. I will never be it doesn't. Somebody with a potato and half an earbud that's not connected to anything can be better than me. Let's not do me as an example. That's a bad.
But you see what I'm saying, yeah? You know?
I get the point you're making. I do think there is differences in system limitations in the hobby that you want and pay to win.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Yeah. But no, thank you guys for indulging me.
Berto, I don't think you're wrong. I still love you. If you listen to this, I still love you.
I still love him. I just don't think that the people who get mad about purchasable items that are only cosmetic because they're collectors is a valid reason to not have as purchasable items.
You know what's funny? You know what I did not like? Which is really weird because I like both the things. is at a certain point, Street Fighter V started slapping Red Bull all over everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You got
Just
you
as
got
the
you
in-game
got to see those.
advertisement,
You got to see those two bulls on Zangief's butt cheeks.
I love Street Fighter. I
So-
love Red Bull.
Yeah.
But together they really upset me for some reason. So,
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
It's because you thought your two great loves were out there hanging out without you, and
yeah.
no one likes to feel excluded.
yeah.
You know, what I really think it was is like the lazy implementation of the Red Bull
That
logo.
too.
At least make it look decent.
Yeah.
Nah, no, just make it very obvious of what it is.
Yeah. Like they just slapped some fucking Red Bull logos on Balrog's fucking gloves. They just slapped them on there.
Yeah, dude.
That's good.
Where else are you gonna put them though? Where else on Balrog would you put
No,
them?
man.
You know, I feel like on his
trunks.
I feel like on his gloves is a very good spot.
Nah.
Put it on his butt cheeks.
I feel pretty confident they put him on Zangief's butt cheeks, but
I don't know, man. Like
put him on his
that's
pecs.
just funny.
Those are the microtransactions we want.
Sure.
Listening to us, Capcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do y'all have any closing thoughts or opinions? Or shout-outs you want to give?
No, I just think like let people buy what they want. If it's not really affecting you, you know.
Yeah. I think that's something that's a sentiment that goes like beyond how people are engaging with their games in that way. It's just like I think that people have a lot of opinions about how other people engage with these video games that in no way affect them, and it always comes from like a very weird place, I think. And I just think that you know get over yourself and just worry about what you're doing. Don't worry about what they're doing. So
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of view it in a similar fashion whenever like a remake comes out of like a movie where it's like that original still exists. You can still earn it or you can buy it. It doesn't like this new thing doesn't
Earn it?
affect you.
yeah.
Well, earn it, but like work like I guess like work for it, do the thing to grab it, like
Oh, sure.
like the cosmetic
Pirate
thing.
it.
Like no, I'm saying like the movie thing it's similar to remakes of movies, but with video games.
Okay.
Like, oh my god.
Wait, so like video game remakes?
Yeah.
So, cosmetic items, whether they be purchasable or winnable in an event,
Yeah.
I see it as the same way as if, like, in movies, whenever there's like a remake or a new movie in a series that like people have opinions on, like it doesn't negate the fact that the original exists.
I
Having
hate
something-
Ghostbusters because they're all women now.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I can't enjoy the original. Yeah, it's the same kind of mindset, in my opinion, as if you are mad that somebody can purchase an item that you won through an event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think
true.
it's just I think it's the same, like, just the same mindset for that.
I think they're
And
just mad they wasted their time doing the event, you know?
Yeah, like all I had to do is throw a few bucks around and look
Yeah.
at me. Look how I'm living.
Yeah.
I got that same bird too, buddy. So I'm not even worried about it.
Hmm.
But yeah, besides what you're listening or watching,
Wait. Have you guys ever done the thing where it's like pay $5 to like skip ahead and unlock all this crap? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
I've done that.
essentially yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. I normally for like event stuff where I'm just like I want to play the game. I don't want to do this whole event thing. I'm just gonna pay the $5 and like get the bonus and play my game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, if besides what you're listening or watching us on, you can find us on YouTube, most podcast apps, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. We also have a Discord. And bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.